Welcome to the Virginia Carolina Deer Tracks Podcast. I'm Mike Davis.
And I'm Shawn Mills.
And we're here to talk about everything real estate
and the great outdoors
in both Virginia
and North Carolina.
Thanks for tuning in. All right, everybody, welcome back to another latest and greatest episode of the Virginia Carolina Deer Tracks Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Davis, along with
Shawn Mills.
Yeah, that is still my guy. And man, it's been a minute since we've gotten together to talk, and man, we've had a lot of great hunting experiences so far this year. And the difficult thing was trying to figure out exactly what we wanted to put on this episode. You know, there was so many.
We had to cut it down to several episodes for sure.
Yep. Several different hunts that we can discuss, several different topics we can discuss. But you know, we kind of put together a short list here that will hopefully be informative and entertaining and not too long. You know, we'll see how it goes. What do you think, buddy?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, so
let's talk about hunting.
Let's talk about hunting. I love it. So 2023, here we go. I think our last episode we were talking about some early season strategies, and one of the things that I was kind of on the fence, going back and forth on one particular stand location that I had normally reserved for later in the season. It was kind of a pinch point or a funnel, maybe you call it, that usually I'd hit during the rut, but I had been getting a pretty good bachelor group on film, so I wanted to kind of go in there and hunt that a little bit early this year, try something a little bit different. You know, I say early, it was actually kind of midpoint. So it was around October 19th is when we're going to start. And it was a Saturday, no, it wasn't a Saturday, it was a Thursday, I think. And I really wanted to hunt that stand, and actually the wind was not going to be perfect for that stand, but it was a slight wind. It was like 1 mile an hour. I even texted you the night before, and I was like, what do you think, man? Am I making a mistake here? And you're like, nah, 1 mile an hour, don't sweat it. Yeah. So with Shawn's wonderful advice, I took to it and went to the stand early that morning. If you are anything like me, during the first few hunts of the year, you just really don't have that rhythm going. On how to pack your gear.
Everybody slow at the gate.
Man,
this is first time.
So this was one of those mornings, and I'd actually hunted a time or two before that, so it wasn't my first hunt of the year, but for whatever reason, I decided to walk off and leave my entire backpack in the side-by-side where I parked to go to my stand. And of course, I realized that as I'm climbing up in the stand. You know, at that point, I just didn't have time to go back, and even if I did have time to go back, I wasn't going to disturb the woods any more than that. We were just going to have to deal with the hand that was dealt. So, you know, first light, I hear walking, you know, comes up behind me. I look, it's a buck. 10 yards. You know, it's within that half-hour window of you know, sunrise. And I get just enough of a peek at it to know that I want this buck, and draw back, do the shot, bam, hit it. Man, great day. This is easy. I don't understand what's so hard about this. Great. Of course, I think I was even texting you from the stand like, hey, bada bing, got one, and gave it about an hour and climbed out of the stand, and I could see the arrow. Thanks to my lighted knock, maybe about 20 yards from where I hit him. So I'm feeling great about everything. Go over there, find the arrow. The arrow did not pass through. It actually broke off in him. But, you know, a sizable part of the arrow broke off in him, and I had good blood on, you know, maybe another 4 inches of the shaft that was remaining. So I was still feeling pretty good about things. And but the blood trail was not great.
Yeah.
Not great. So did find a little bit of blood, and tracked it for a while, called in some help. We tracked, walked all through those woods, man, and the blood just when finally found a decent trail, it just played out very, very quickly. So anybody that's bow hunted knows the emotional highs and the lows that I'm referencing here, man. You just go from being on top of the world to just feeling absolutely miserable No one wants to wound an animal. No one wants to not be able to recover that animal. But out the gates, that's what was happening. Matter of fact, even I was feeling so bad. Came to the office for a little while, and Shawn was there, and he's like, "Hey, let's go look one more time."
Yeah.
So went back out that evening and gave it a look, and just man, it was just nothing to do. So. Yeah, I guess I did. I did actually try to call a local person that had some tracking dogs. They were unavailable that day. Really didn't even think about the thermal drone recovery thing, and that's something we can get into on another episode. And hindsight being 2020, but that's the way it goes, I guess. Not happy about it, but not much you can do about it now. But it did lead us to start having some discussions about fixed broadheads versus mechanical. And I know this is one of those topics that can go either way, and people have various opinions about it. But in this case, I was shooting a mechanical. I think it was a G5 dead meat, I think is what it was. And I'm not going to say it was the broadhead's fault. I'm not even implying that, but just didn't have luck that day. And doing some talking and doing some thinking, and got to thinking about when the mechanical broadhead hits the animal and it expands, how it loses so much of that kinetic energy.
That's one of the biggest discussed things in archery by far is mechanical versus fixed.
Yeah, and I know it is personal preference, and different stories can go different ways, and I, to be honest, I'm not 100% settled one way or the other. Yeah. I've had successes with both. I have had failures with both.
It surprises me where some of the guide services I've been with, they require you use a fixed broadhead, and that's what I always use expandables. Yeah. I always have, and so. I say always, ever since they came out. Ever since Rage came out, I've been using expandables.
Yep.
But when guide services are starting to say you have to use a fixed broadhead to hunt with them, because they've had such bad experience with it, you can't help but think about this.
Well, obviously,
something to this,
obviously there's a reason for that. And, and even in talking with with our friends over at Bugs Island Archery about it, and, they were talking about, these guys you see on TV, they're maybe pulling 70, 80 pound draw weight, and that may have something to do with it. So maybe that have something. I pull like 14 pounds. I'm basically just throwing it underhand at the deer. No, I think I got mine set on 60 right now, but and I don't know if that. I'm not enough of an expert to know if that comes into play or not. But regardless, I was feeling bad enough to make a change, and decided to try out these. I think it's what's the QAD, the Exodus, and really neat looking broadhead.
We actually did for the show kind of too. I went out and bought when he mentioned them to me, and I was like, let's try them out. So I went and bought a pack. That day before I went hunting with you.
That's right.
Let's try them.
That's right, you did, and that kind of leads into our next hunt, which was just a couple days later. Yeah. So I had hunted on that Thursday, and then so you and I had talked about hunting together on that Saturday, which I think was the 21st.
Yeah. Then we had that showing on one of the listings that morning. Both of us were showing the same farm to different clients.
Yeah. We were out there. We had side by sides everywhere, running all over that property, but. So I waited for Shawn to finish up, and he had a client that was with him that threw him a curveball and was trying to get him to go show another property that afternoon, which would have, of course, ruined the hunt. Don't get me wrong, I would have still gone, but I had to talk a little sense into you, didn't I, Shawn?
That's right. Glad you did.
So Shawn was hunting with me out at our farm, and had a stand set up that on a food plot we did this year, and decided to put Shawn on the food plot. I went into a stand in the hardwoods about maybe 100 yards behind him, just so we could kind of hunt the same area and kind of experience the same stuff, and I'd say it worked out pretty well for the most part.
Oh yeah. The whole time we were texting each other, we were seeing a lot of small bucks, and as far as those, I'm trying to think back. I I don't think I saw any of those. I saw bucks cruising. So
Yep.
it was two different ones back and forth between me and Mike. And it's getting right there towards that prime time, that golden 30 minutes, that last bit of daylight. We're getting that.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, one came out right there in the corner. The other bucks acted a little spooked. You could tell it was a more dominant buck in the area, and let it rip with that Exodus, and it didn't go far. It only went, I'd say, I don't know, what do you think? It probably went,
I don't know.
7,500 yards maybe?
I don't think it went 100. I was going to say 60, 70, maybe 80 yards.
Yeah, did a great job. I mean, that was first time I've shot a fixed broadhead in, gosh, I guess 10 years probably, 11 years. I'm trying to think when the rages and stuff came out. It's been a long time.
Yeah, but obviously you had good results.
Yeah.
And we found good blood, and brought the Davis tracking team out there.
That's right.
My wife and daughter came out. They get super excited about coming out and helping with that stuff, and their eyesight is way better than mine. So that was really cool.
Yeah, I
Found
wasn't
it there.
expecting that. It was a 17 inch wide 8-pointer off his farm. And Mike keeps track of these, and did you ever have any pictures of him?
I don't think I had pictures of him. I mean, he didn't look familiar. I mean, I might have some one-offs here and there, but he wasn't part of the normal rotation, I would say. So that was a pleasant surprise and a pleasant way to start the bow season for you. Absolutely. And started us both off on some pretty good adventures with the Exodus broadheads that we'll get into on some other episodes. So it was pretty neat with the food plots. Overall, this year's been a fantastic year.
Definitely a different year from, years past for a big reason.
Yeah, and I'm not even just talking about us. I'm just talking about statewide, man. Just seeing some absolute hammers on all these Facebook pages, and man, I'm so thankful those pages exist, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool to see all the big deer, especially in Virginia, that are being put on the ground this year.
Yeah.
And with the white oak acorn count being non-existent this year, I really thought hunting was going to be really, really tough, and I felt very fortunate that we were able to get some food plots in.
I guarantee you'll see probably twice as many food plots next year planted as this year, because I've always tried to plant food plots. I've missed a couple years here and there, but it's always productive over food plots. But a year like this, man, it's almost a necessity. I'm not saying it wasn't big deer killed on those creek bottoms, chasing, cruising, everything else, but anybody that hunted Virginia this year will admit that food plots was a game changer, whether they had them or not.
Well, it certainly was for me. Not getting too far ahead of ourselves, but from that same stand, 4 bucks were killed this year. So I think that just speaks volumes, and super happy about that. But hey, if the acorns come back next year, I'll be happy about that too, and we'll have both of those to hunt. One part of your story I wanted to go back to, we kind of skipped over it, but we were talking about those early season jitters or snafus or whatever we want to call them. On that day that you came and hunted, you forgot your rangefinder.
Yes, sir.
And
had to improvise.
Yeah, we had to improvise. So Shawn wasn't familiar with that stand or that food plot at all, which no matter how good you are at judging distances, when you're just looking at an open field with not a lot of landmarks to go by, there's really nothing to gauge.
That's always been one of the toughest shots on any course I've ever set up, was the field shots. Yeah. Incline and field shots, if you had to narrow it down, would be the worst.
I got you. Shawn you had the ribbon, right?
Yeah. So I took flag and tape. I marked 2 different spots in the field at 20 yards and 30 yards, just to kind of help me out a little bit without having that rangefinder.
Yeah. So we used my rangefinder to do that. So we did improvise. I was a little concerned that we were just going to be stinking things up out there, taking that extra time to walk out in the food plot and measure those distances and stuff like that. But literally within 30 minutes of me getting in the stand, even though it was in the hardwoods and there were no acorns, I had that little buck cruising through within 30 minutes. And
that one deer stepped on the flag and tape, literally. He actually stepped on my flag. Back before I rangefinders and all, I did that before. I've always done the flagging for a long time before rangefinders come out. But another thing is getting out there and practicing on these targets. These 3D courses I cannot push enough. I don't run mine anymore, but it really does make you a better hunter as far as getting out there and judging those range. Because I had one day you could shoot without a rangefinder, and then the Sunday you could always shoot with a rangefinder. It was a known yardage. So it really helps make you a better hunter.
Well,
there's rangefinder.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, and I really hope that we talked about doing some 3D shooting and stuff last year, and
still got my targets, just don't get to use them.
Well, I mean, even on
over here,
the place in Oxford, and if they ever get it going over here, yeah. So we're hoping to get involved with some of that this year. At least I know I'd like to, and
I miss it.
I've never done it before, so. I'll probably go out there and make a fool of myself, but at the end of the day, it will make me a better shot, and that's really,
right.
I mean, it's going to be fun regardless.
I've never known somebody to go just one time.
Yeah.
After they go, they're hooked, man. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So hey, that was it. We, like I said, we hadn't really been out or been putting out any material here for about a couple months, really, and part of that's just
because
it's
hunting season.
It's hunting season, and our work schedule continues to be busy. We're very blessed, and when I have a slow time, Shawn is super busy, and when Shawn slows down a little bit for whatever, then I'll be busy. So you wouldn't think two people trying to get together could be so challenging, but it has been. It is. It is a great problem to have.
That busy right now, just saying.
Yeah. But as the year winds down, and as the hunting season winds down, we've got lots more stories to share. And
I know what he's talking about. Duck seasons. Yeah, I'm talking about slowing down. We got till February 1st, buddy.
Yeah.
Rabbit season too.
Well, it was wishful thinking. So, but we hope to at least get another podcast out. Within a few weeks, not a couple of months. So
that's right.
That is the goal anyway. We're trying to do some video this time, so we'll see how that pans out. We do have a YouTube channel, and we've got a couple videos on there so far, and trying to put some more out there in addition to the actual podcast, like we did with Tim Andrews from Realtree, but a couple of videos from the buck that Shawn killed. Don't have video of the shot, but we have video of the afterwards, when Shawn's, kind of telling what happened and holding the deer. So go out there and check that out, and, subscribe to the page, and make sure you like us on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. What do you think, Shawn? Is this a good stopping point?
Yes, sir. I think so.
All right. Well, this one was a short one. It was quick. I hope you liked it. We're going to be coming at you soon with more great hunting stories from 2023. And thanks for tuning in. So do your line, Shawn. You know what you... I do it again. You got to set it over top of you.
This is live, man.
Okay.
We out.
We out.